You are welcome. You are welcome to another installment of In Pursuit of Perfection with Tamuno Pri Hosful. And today we are going to be continuing in our series we have been running for March and for April. We've been talking about the power of relationships. And last time we looked at the problem of being alone. And today we are going to be discussing how we can maintain some of our relationships. We're going to be finding the greases that will keep the gears rolling to ensure that our relationships are going as smoothly as they possibly can, so that we can get the results that we desire from our relationships. We do not want to be in relationships where it seems like though there is always friction, and stuff like that always leads to hurt and pain and things that we will not like to experience in the long term. So it is necessary for us to know some things that we can use to keep those gears spinning the way they are meant to spin, to ensure that our relationships are good and they are healthy. So we are going to be discussing three things in keeping relationships good. But the first thing I want us to look at before we look at those things is to understand how relationships form in the first place. Relationships are usually born out of something I term as commonality. The moment you find something that you and another person or you and another thing have in common, a common interest, a common idea, a common goal, it is easy for you guys to form some sort of relationship. It is this commonality that allows us to be able to pursue things with people that we know and become deeper connected to them. Adam was in the beginning, and in the beginning he was doing his own thing, but until the moment Eve was presented to him, we never saw such a impassioned exclamation from Adam. He was there, he was doing his thing, minding his own business, naming the animals. It did not seem like anything was so exciting. But the moment he saw somebody that was like himself, the Bible says that he exclaimed and said, "This is bone of my bone. This is flesh of my flesh." Trying to say that we are similar. We seem to have some things that are, in the same rhyme and in the same reason. We have similar features. And he now said, "This is something that I really want." And he went on to exclaim that because of these kinds of things, men will separate themselves from other things to be able to get themselves in contact with this one. When he said, "For this reason a man shall leave his father and mother, and he shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh." So anytime we are pursuing relationships, sometimes we are letting go of some other things that might have helped us or taken us on a journey. But because we have found something in common ground with these people, we now see a need to pull ourselves much closer to these people and grow with them and become what it is that we are meant to become. But in our path towards becoming who it is that we are meant to become and maintaining our relationships, we find out that there are always things that can sometimes want to put a spanner in the works of our relationships. And the truth is, these things are normal. It's more abnormal for you not to have friction with someone than for you to have friction with them, to be honest, because friction is a sign that things are working. It's a sign that things are working. If there is no friction, it means things are not working. It means there is no movement. It means there is no advancement. And in most cases, it means there is no growth. So in this video, we're going to be looking at three things that are going to help us to be able to better maintain some of our relationships and see that relationships become what it is they are meant to be. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is compassion, right? Compassion allows us to be able to see things or experience the thing that another person is going through. When you're in a relationship with somebody, a friend, family member, husband, wife, fiance, or whatever it is, it is necessary for you to have compassion towards them because they are going through some certain things that in some cases your eyes might not be able to see. But when your eyes get to see those things, you have to ensure that you are in a state of mind where you are able to understand where they are coming from. If there is no compassion in your heart, when you see them going what they are going through, and you just be like, they should deal with it now. The Bible would record that Jesus would be going around, and it would say that he was filled with compassion in a few times just before he was about to heal somebody. That compassion takes you to a point where you move out of your comfort zone to be able to help somebody, to be able to step into their space, to be able to step into their pain, to be able to step into their trouble, to help bring them out. If you cannot feel their pain, then it is hard for you to be able to understand why they are going through what they are going through, why they feel the way they are feeling, and what it is you can do to actually help them out of that circumstance and out of that situation. Compassion is a necessary grease to keep the gears of your relationship rolling and rolling the way it is meant to roll. It is not just something for you to just say, well, you live your life, I live my life, and then we just go on ahead. No, if a gear is out of sort, it causes the whole thing that you're working on to become problematic. So for you to be able to get the best result, it is necessary for you to have the compassion that is going to allow you to be able to build your relationship to the point where you guys can continue advancing. They will go through some things and it will draw down their countenance. Now, your compassion allows you to experience what they are experiencing and be moved. That's the key word, be moved, to be able to try and bring them peace in that circumstance that they find themselves in that time and in that season, right? The next thing that is necessary for you to keep your relationship good is forgetfulness. And when I say forgetfulness, I don't mean forgetting things that are important to the people. But what I mean is forgetting the fact that they might have done something that hurt you. And when I say forget, again, I don't mean that you should have it in your mind that, let me just forget it and not deal with the hurt. Because that will happen a lot of the time, that people forget things. But when they say they forget it, they actually buried it. And burying it is not the same thing, right? When you bury something, especially if it's a seed, because words, circumstances, situations tend to be seeds. When you bury it, what happens is that you're putting it in an environment where it is hidden for a season, but it's going to sprout its head at a later season, and it's going to come out as a tree, and that tree is going to end up bearing fruits. So for you to not have the fruit of pain propagate itself in your relationship later, when I say forget, I mean basically take that seed and destroy it and forget that thing even ever happened. If you don't get to that point, anytime you see that person, the memory that will always come back to you is the last time that they did something to you, and you always be cooking it up over and over and over. And even if they change, you will still be seeing them according to the light of the pain that you have. They might have become completely different people. That's why you see some people, they knew somebody in their childhood and they meet them much later in life, and those people have become completely different people, but they still characterize them according to how they knew them when they were children. So they will remember that, man, that guy was wicked to me, and the moment they meet them, they are very wary of that person, and they don't want to trust that person, and they don't want to allow that person to even express the fact that they've had a change of heart and they've had a change of experiences that has allowed them to grow beyond who they were when they were children. But now, because you have not let go, because you have not killed that old thought, because you've not killed that old man that was remembering and bringing all those things back into action, because you've not really forgotten, then it's allowing you to be able to bring back the pain that was inserted as a means to break the strength of that relationship. Forgetfulness is key. The Bible would instruct us that we should not only forgive, but that we should forget. Forgiveness is dealing with the fact that someone hurt you. Forgetting is what allows you to move forward with that person. If you do not gain the ability to forget, you will never be able to advance your relationship beyond the point of that hurt. So there will always be a dead zone whenever you choose not to forget. There will always be a point of friction and flaring up and sparks whenever you choose not to forget. Forgetting is what allows you to be able to move past the fact that something happened in that place, something happened in that time, and even if that thing were to happen again, it is almost like a new experience. I use the word almost. It is almost like a new experience, because it is, you have so far removed that reality from your mind that it is, you do not attribute the person's current actions to what it is that you have experienced before. And it is necessary for the strength of your relationship that you do not only forgive, you do not only have compassion, you do not only try to feel their pain, you do not only try to cry with them, but you also learn how to forget when they are the ones that made you cry, when they are the ones that actually made you feel bad, when they are the ones that actually made you feel a certain kind of way. You have to learn how to forget, because sometimes the truth is, some of the people that have hurt us unconsciously. They might have said something that they did not even know was meant to be hurtful, but in as time passed, the thing was digging at you, and if you do not allow yourself to forget that thing, you will carry that hurt, and there will be somebody that is there that does not even know in any way, shape, form, or manner that they've done anything to hurt you, and it's causing friction, and they might be wondering, like, why is this person pulling away from me? Yes, it's because you have not forgiven, and it's because you have not particularly forgotten what has happened before. And then the final thing that we are going to be looking at is actually a little bit tied to the first thing that we spoke about, and it is about perspectives, right? For you to be able to properly understand and work in a relationship with somebody, it requires you to change perspective. Sometimes you have to go and stand in their shoes to see things the way they see things, to understand things the way they understand things, before you be able to receive what it is that they are offering. And perspectives and perceptions are concepts that are actually closely attached to each other, because both of them require sight or senses to be able to judge how you're going to act in the next moment. So a man that does not understand that he has to change his perspective, the way he sees, the angle through which he sees, to match the angle the person he's in relationship sees things, then there will always be an issue when they are trying to resolve some certain things in their lives, because one person is seeing it from a side where there's light, and another person is seeing it from a side where there's darkness. And until you come to the point where you can see it from their side, you will not completely understand how to deal with the thing that they are going through. This was the necessity that God had to send Jesus into the world. He had to send him into the world just because of this reason of perspectives. He had to experience what it was like to be man. And it was only under those auspices that he was able to give us his life, and we could actually accept it. Before then, because God is God, because he was not tempted and tried, because he cannot, because he is so high and far removed from us, he was always at arm's reach and never in contact the way we needed him to be in contact with us. But when Jesus came, the Bible said that he came in flesh and we beheld his glory. And the Bible says that through the things that he suffered, he learned disobedience. He learned obedience rather. God never learned anything, but Jesus did. And through that experience of Jesus, where he was able to see how it is, how it really feels to be a man, and then bear that burden of sin upon himself to remove us from that reality. And sometimes, until we get to see things the way people see things, until we get to understand where they're coming from, until we get to understand their roots, until we get to understand their thought patterns, until we start seeing things the way they see things, until we come down to their level. Sometimes when parents are talking to their kids, they squat down, they come to the height of that child, so that they are looking each other in the eye. The child is not looking up at a parent that is just vastly removed from them. They come down to their level to make them know that yes, now we are about to make a connection. They come to their level so that the child can feel them. They come to their level so the child can understand that they see things the way they see things. And then, in some cases, there is an embrace, and the parent lifts that child from that lowly place to the height where they stand. And that is what can happen whenever we choose to bring ourselves to see things from the angle that other people see things. Because when there's a change of perspective, when there's a change of view, when there's a change of angle, we are able to elevate people or be elevated ourselves if we are the ones that have the wrong perspective. We are able to elevate people or be elevated to see things from a better angle that will be able to produce the kinds of results that we want in our relationships. Relationships are work, right? They are work. There are some things there are things that we have to put effort into to ensure that they become what it is we want them to become. It is easy generally to form a relationship. You meet a guy on the street. Oh, how you doing? Both of you love Manchester United. You are now friends. Oh, both of you love swimming. You are now friends. Oh, both of you love table tennis. You are now friends. Oh, both of you love some certain kinds of movies. You are now friends. Sometimes it's easy for us to form relationships. But to maintain those relationships, it requires us to input some things to ensure that those relationships can move smoothly. You guys will not always agree, you will not always see eye to eye, but through perspectives, through compassion, and through forgetfulness. These are just three of many things, anyways. This list is not exhaustive, but if through these things you might be able to allow that relationship to blossom into what it is that it is meant to be. Hallelujah. So this has been Tamna Prayer House for bringing you the word. It has been a bit of a long one, but I just hope that what you have heard today is going to help you better deal with people in your lives, not just like your personal relationship, but also your work and business relationships, also your ministry relationships. These things will greatly help you deal with people better and allow you to ascend to greater heights. God bless you. Have an awesome day, and I will catch you in our next video. Our next video is actually our prayer video, so I hope you come ready to receive